The sky was a canvas of deepening blue as the helicopter. Blades thrummed against the evening air, carrying two men far from the bustling city below. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments where in the world are you watching from. Inside, billionaire Arthur Thorne gripped his leather seat, his knuckles white. Not from fear of flying, but from the weight of the secrets he carried. Arthur was a self-made man, having built his fortune from nothing, but along the way, he had made ruthless decisions that haunted him. His latest venture, a clean energy project, threatened powerful oil magnates, and he knew they wanted him out of the picture. He had increased security, but today he had let his guard down, taking only Leo, his most trusted pilot, for this confidential trip. Opposite him sat Leo, a single dad and Arthur's personal pilot for the day. Though Leo was far more than that, he was a former rescue operative Arthur had hired for his unique skills and unwavering loyalty. Leo's mind, however, was elsewhere, on his 7-year-old daughter Mia, who was waiting at home with a sitter, expecting her dad to read her a bedtime story about dragons and bravery. Leo had lost his wife to illness years ago, and Mia was his everything. He took this job with Arthur because it offered flexible hours and good pay, allowing him to be there for Mia. The helicopter journey was supposed to be a quick trip to Arthur's private island for a business meeting, but fate had other plans. Without warning, a sharp crack echoed through the cabin, followed by the alarming sputter of the engine. Leo's training kicked in immediately. His hands flew over the controls, but the damage was severe. "We've got a fuel leak," he shouted over the rising panic in his voice. Arthur's face paled as he saw the warning lights flash red on the instrument panel. "What happened?" he demanded, though he knew the answer. Sabotage. Arthur had received threats, but he never thought they would go this far. The helicopter lurched violently, descending rapidly toward the choppy waters below. Leo fought to stabilize the craft, but the explosion was imminent. The smell of fuel filled the air, and sparks flickered from the damaged engine. "We have to ditch!" Leo yelled, already unbuckling his harness. Arthur fumbled with his seatbelt, but a searing pain shot through his leg, trapped under twisted metal from the impact. He grimaced, realizing he wasn't going anywhere. The helicopter swayed, dangling precariously over the ocean, and the flames began to lick at the cockpit. That's when Arthur looked at Leo, truly looked at him, and saw not just an employee but a father, a man with everything to live for. "Leave me!" Arthur cried, his voice breaking with desperation. "The whole thing is about to blow. Save yourself, Leo. You have a daughter who needs you." Leo froze, Arthur's words echoing in his ears. Leave him? After all they had been through? Arthur had given Leo a job when no one else would, had provided health insurance that covered Mia's asthma treatments. He had been more than a boss, a friend in quiet moments. But now, with fire spreading and time ticking away, Leo had to decide. Memories flooded his mind. Mia's laughter, her small hand in his, the promise he made to always come home. But also the promise he made to himself to never abandon someone in need. His rescue training screamed at him to evacuate, but his heart clenched at the thought of leaving Arthur to die. The billionaire's eyes were filled with tears, not for himself but for Leo. "Go!" Arthur insisted, pushing Leo away weakly. Leo took a deep breath, the heat intensifying around them. "No," he said firmly, his voice steady despite the chaos. "We're both getting out of here." With strength born of desperation, Leo grabbed a fire extinguisher from the side compartment and blasted the flames near Arthur's seat. Then he braced himself against the console and pulled at the metal, pinning Arthur's leg. It groaned but didn't budge. Sweat poured down Leo's face, mixing with soot and determination. "It's no use," Arthur muttered, but Leo ignored him. He remembered a trick from his rescue days, using leverage. Spotting a loose pipe, he wedged it under the metal and pushed with all his might. The metal shifted, just enough for Arthur to free his leg. A cry of pain escaped Arthur's lips, but he was loose. Now they had to jump. The helicopter was seconds from exploding, the fire consuming the rear section. Leo helped Arthur to the door, which was jammed. Kicking it open, they faced the roaring wind and the dark water below. "On three," Leo shouted, wrapping an arm around Arthur. "1, 2. The explosion came before 3, a deafening blast that shattered the helicopter into pieces. But Leo had already jumped, pulling Arthur with him. They plunged into the icy water, debris raining around them. Leo surfaced, gasping for air, dragging Arthur with him. The billionaire was unconscious but breathing. Leo inflated their life vests, which had activated on impact, and held Arthur tightly as the wreckage burned above them. The cold seeped into Leo's bones, but he focused on keeping Arthur afloat. He thought of Mia, her bright eyes, and how he had to survive for her. He whispered a prayer, something he hadn't done since his wife died. After what felt like hours but was only minutes, a Coast Guard boat arrived. Their Mayday signal had been received. They were pulled to safety, and Arthur was rushed to the hospital. Leo, with minor injuries, refused treatment until he knew Arthur was stable. Later at the hospital, Arthur woke to find Leo sitting by his bed. "You saved me," Arthur whispered, his voice hoarse. "You shouldn't have." Leo smiled tiredly. "I couldn't leave you." "That's not who I am," Arthur nodded, tears in his eyes. "You have a daughter to think of." "I do," Leo said. "And I want her to grow up in a world where people don't abandon each other. Besides, your family too." The days that followed were a whirlwind of investigations and recovery. It was confirmed that the helicopter had been tampered with, and Arthur's enemies were brought to justice thanks to evidence he provided. Arthur, deeply moved by Leo's bravery, decided to change his life. He used his wealth to support causes that mattered. Starting with a children's hospital named after Mia, Leo, promoted to head of security, ensured that such sabotage never happened again. But more than that, Arthur became a part of Leo and Mia's family, spending holidays with them and watching Mia grow. Leo never regretted his decision to save Arthur. In fact, it gave him a renewed sense of purpose. Mia, now older, heard the story of her dad's heroism and wore it like a badge of honor. She knew that true bravery isn't about lacking fear, but about acting despite it. And every night when Leo read her a story, she always asked for the one about the helicopter and the billionaire who cried, "Leave me," but was saved by a single dad who chose kindness over convenience. The story spread, inspiring others to act selflessly, and Arthur often spoke about it in interviews, emphasizing that no amount of money can buy the loyalty and courage of a good heart. Leo, for his part, remained humble, saying he just did what anyone would do, though deep down he knew that not everyone would have made the same choice. But that choice defined him, and it defined their friendship. A bond forged in fire and water, stronger than any metal. And so life moved forward, with lessons learned and hearts changed. All because in a moment of crisis, a single dad listened not to the cries of "leave me," but to the whisper of his conscience, and in doing so saved not just a life, but his own soul. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and support my channel for more true stories of kindness and bravery. This is Kindness True Stories signing off.